Black Ops 1 is one of my favourite games of all time, so I thought we'd take a trip down memory lane and talk about 10 aspects and features of Black Ops 1 that made the game unique. As you can see, first off, this is where we start. We're in the main menu. We are strapped to a chair. The ambiance is very creepy, very scary. We got some televisions going off here, and
that's a big ass eyeball.
One of the most unique things straight off the bat as we get started is that we can actually get out of this chair, and a lot of you probably already know this if you play Black Ops 1, and if we tap the back triggers, we get out of the chair, we can have a little mosey around, but more importantly, we have a computer. Now back in the day, if you would type in 3ARC space unlock, which initially you're supposed to beat the campaign and it would chuck you straight into that zombies map. But if you didn't want to go through the campaign, you could do this, unlock the map straight off the bat. There's a lot of other things you could type into the computer. Let's just type in hello. Hello brother, hello nurse, hello sailor. Anyway, so you could just type in some, there's a lot of other commands you can type into the computer. There's a little hint for you. Yeah, don't know the word subscribe. Yeah, never mind then. That's one of the first unique things when it comes to Black Ops 1. This is the only main menu we've had that's interactive at this level. So the second thing I wanted to talk about was the RCXD routes that were implemented into quite a few maps on this game. There were like little tunnels, little vents that you could take your RCXD in. Would get the upper hand on your team, catch them by surprise. The first one you could probably already think of is Nuketown. We see a fella upstairs. I've been killed by the bot. I can't even get up the stairs. Get up! Oh no. Put in reverse. Didn't really catch him off guard there, but that was one of the things that really made some of the maps unique when it came to multiplayer. I know I'm getting my ass handed to me by bots. Hopefully in the future we can have some more RCXD routes implemented into Call of Duty maps. Before COD points were introduced as they are today, back in Black Ops 1, you could use COD points to buy weapons, perks, attachments, and face paint.
Oh, look at me, I'm so minted.
These points could also be spent on wager matches, and doesn't seem to be a lot of people playing these days. Are we going to be lucky to get into a game? No. Wager matches are 3 different playlists with 3 different buy-in prices. These playlists consisted of 4 different game modes. You had one in the chamber, sticks and stones, gun game, and sharpshooter. And unfortunately I can't go into a private game and play it because I can't put bots on. So yeah, take my word for it, wager matches were real good fun back in the day. So the next thing I want to talk about is dynamic map elements. In certain maps you would have dynamic and interactive elements to the maps that could change the way the game is played. For instance, on Radiation we had these doors we could operate, which would close the bunker doors, which in game modes such as Search and Destroy and Domination, which would allow for good defensive position on these game modes. Another one we had was on Launch, where the rocket would take off halfway through the maps, but this would also impact certain game modes such as Search and Destroy, I think Domination as well, where you'd have a flag situated here. And if you were under this rocket, then we'll let it speak for itself. One of my favourites has to be on Kowloon. It doesn't really impact the match that much, but it's one of those things where you can sort of get the upper hand on your enemies, but I just thought it was really cool that you could use the zip line. Where you could access from 2 different sides. So we have this side as also. It was just little things like this that really just made the map more authentic in a way. Hopefully we can get some more elements put into maps like this in future Call of Duties. Next thing I want to talk about is theatre mode. Now this was first introduced in Black Ops 1 and it was very community driven. You could take screenshots, you could take clips. Yeah, clip screenshots, films. Another one we don't want to overlook is the custom games. Now a lot of these weren't that impressive apart from downloading custom games of party mode, like One in the Chamber, gun game, putting that into a private match, and being able to play that with your friends outside of playing online with other players. The Tomahawk kills, montages, Ninja defusals. The next thing we're going to look at is contracts. You could purchase contracts with COD points. They're all in 3 different categories. We had mercenary contracts, operation contracts, and specialist contracts. And these contracts would refresh every 24 hours, so, you know, you could probably complete them all if you wanted to, if you were that good, in the 24-hour window, and then they would refresh, go at it again, see how many COD points you could build up a lot of XP. I just think contracts added that little bit of a exciting and challenging element that, well, you'd have to go into a game and you'd have to meet certain requirements as opposed to just going in, killing, getting kill streaks. You know, you had to use certain weapons, you had to play specific game modes that you wouldn't necessarily play maybe. It added that little bit of excitement to each different game. Hopefully they'll come back in some sort of fashion in the coming years. Another funny element to Black Ops 1 was Dolphin Diving. Now, back in the day, this was absolutely hilarious when you were playing with your friends, and you just, from a third perspective, you know, when you're watching your team, your mate and your teammate dolphin diving around corners, jumping off cliffs, it was way too much fun, and it was way too funny. It might not look like much now, but back then it was too good. With the new Omni movement in Black Ops 6, haven't played the beta myself, it's still fun to do, and it's a good way to get some epic kills. And I've seen a lot of kill cams where people are diving around corners, because you could dive left, you could dive right, you could dive backwards now. So it does make for some very good clips and some really good kills. So the next thing I want to look at is the Emblem Editor. You'll be assigned with 12 different layers for people to create their own little artistic emblem that would be displayed on their player cards. You know, some are very artistic, some are very not artistic, some are just downright ridiculous and even led to player bans, and you probably know why. But you could have it displayed on your weapon, and obviously, yeah, it would show it up on your player card, so loads of people could have a look at your artistic work. It hasn't shown up in the last couple of cards over the years, and I could probably see why, based on what people would probably make these days. This is one of these things where it was the first time implemented into a card game in Black Ops 1, and at its time, it was good. It was good. Some new features at the time was the Creator Class 2.0 system, which introduced the Tier 1 perk system, face paints, and even gold camo. The choice of your Tier 1 perk will determine your character's appearance and what faction they would be a part of. So let's go to Ghost, for instance, and we are part of the SOG, and when you're playing on different game modes, different maps, and you be assigned to one of 2 teams, this is what your character would look like based on your Tier 1 perk. We also had the introduction of face paint, which you had 24 different ones to choose from, not including the clean, because that's where you start with. But you could use your card points to buy different face paint, stand out from the crowd. Obviously, these ones are locked away because I need to purchase more. But you did have some cool ones. You had Dragon, you had Lion, Demon, Spider. These were just things at the time that were a little different, new, authentic. Gold camo was first properly introduced into Black Ops 1 outside of the 6 weapons from Modern Warfare 1 2007, and you had to pay a whopping 50,000 COD points to get gold on your guns. But this is only on primary weapons, you couldn't have it on secondaries. But this was the first time it was ever introduced with gold camo. Last but not least, we have the birth of the Zombies Easter egg storyline, all starting here in Ascension. Now, we did have an Easter egg in Doris, but it wasn't the first proper Easter egg in the storyline. And if you're anything like me, I haven't got a clue what the hell is going on. So I'm just going to read this little paragraph on the screen to tell you what the hell's going on. The Ultimus crew traveled to a Soviet cosmodrome in 1963 from Group 935's Kino facility via Lunar Lander to recover Richthofen's diary The group also need to free a Soviet scientist from the Ascension group named Gersh from the Kashmir mechanism, along with the fact that they must face limitless hordes of the undead as they continue their journey. So, yeah, how that starts, how it all goes, how it all ties in, not a clue, but I love it for what it is. I love the Premise and Ultimus crew. We need him to come back. We have got Rick Dolphin. We have got Rick Dolphin back in Black Ops 6, but the crew, we need them back. So obviously I completed this years and years ago when it first came out. As far as I remember, I don't think I can do this on solo. Woo! Get the power on. First spin of the box. What can we get? Come on. Come on. Oh, we got the little dolls. Oh, my days. Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, no. Ah! Ah! Go! Pop, 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 pop. My God, that was close. Thunder gun! The Thunder gun is so nostalgic, man. So nostalgic. Oh no, the monkeys. This was another aspect of zombies that was quite unique, is the monkey around. Even though they can be annoying, you keep away. What are we saying? Jug? Speed cola. Oh my days. What? Hey. What just happened? I'm not as good as where I used to be. So there we have it. That is 10 unique aspects and features in Black Ops 1. Let me know which one's your favourite of the any I've missed. Drop them in the comment below. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and ring the notification bell. And I'll catch you in the next one.